Welcome back to the nest, peeps. In today's video, we're going to be discussing how to paint magical flames. But more specifically, we're going to be talking about how to paint magical flames using fluorescent paint. As some of you may have noticed, I've been on kind of a fluorescent glow paint kick with a bunch of my paint jobs recently. I really like using it for glow effects. However, I love my fluorescents. I use them only for accent pieces. And on this model, this is the kind of first time that the fluorescent paint takes center stage on this model. We are going to be using the Gatorman Soul Slave to demonstrate how to paint these flames, because on the top of the Soul Slave there are three very prominent sculpted flames that are perfect for this video. Now, going into this, I didn't look anything up on how to do this. I kind of went through trial and error. In the beginning, I kind of tried to approach it as I would have any other glow effect that I would do with fluorescent paint. However, I quickly learned that that was not the route to take when painting fire with fluorescent paint. And that is primarily because of the way that fire glows and gives off light. And to achieve that, I realized I kind of had to invert the process. But that's enough of discussing how I did it. Let's just do it. So because we are using fluorescent paints for this, the first step, no matter how I was going to decide to tackle it, was to base coat these flames with a pure white. I had to be super careful near the edges of these flames here because I didn't want to get any of this white on any of the other previous work that I had done. Because flames glow from the center outward, I figured the next best step to do would be to apply a dry brush of gray over this white to give a transition from light to dark, as the flame would dissipate from heat and glow. And this is similar to how I've painted other glow effects in the past. However, this is where the curveball came in, because in the past I would be glazing this fluorescent paint over a flat surface, whereas here the surface has texture. And because of that, the fluorescent paint acted more as a wash, pulled into the recesses, making the recesses darker than I had wanted them, and just washed out all the previous dry brushing. So I pivoted and decided to go for more of a hocus pocus black flame candle vibe. So I came in with that same cold gray as earlier and dry brushed it again, this time on top of the fluorescent magenta. However, as you can see, this cold gray just was not dark enough and it just didn't look right. It just wasn't working out, so I decided to kick it up to 11 and take a dry brush of pure black and start hitting the magenta flames with this. Because the magenta was so saturated, I had to be real dramatic with it. Once I'd finished up with the black dry brush, I was feeling much more confident with this. It was starting to begin to look like actual flames now. The last thing to do was to apply those inner highlights that are indicative of a flame. And I did this by applying pure white to the centermost recesses on these flames, giving the feel that these flames are indeed hot. And here you can see the end result with the model completely based and varnished. It took me a little while to figure this out, but it was nice to try something new. Now I can take the knowledge that I gained from this experiment and I can apply that to any fire that I have in the rest of this army, hopefully improving upon this process each time I attempt it. Now, I am extremely happy with how these flames turned out, whereas I think in the future I can kind of perfect this process and have it turn out a little bit better. I am happy with the result that I got with this first attempt. Now, before I start getting a bunch of comments in the comment section down below about,
"Oh, you should have done OSL. This would have been perfect for OSL."
I understand that. It would have been a great model to do OSL on. However, this is a piece for my army, for the tabletop. And I'm not a big fan of how OSL looks on the tabletop. It's great for display pieces. When I see models with heavy OSL on the tabletop, I kind of just see the glow effect and not the model itself. It just kind of draws your eye right in. And I didn't want that for my army for the tabletop. So no, I didn't do OSL with the flames. So aside from the whole OSL thing, what do you peeps think of these flames? Do you like how they turned out? Did you enjoy the process? Do you have a better approach to producing fluorescent flames? Let me know in the comments section down below. That's going to be all for this video. I will see you in the next one. As always, keep on painting, peeps.